Good evening. Welcome to this regularly scheduled meeting of Jefferson County Board of Education. Apologize for the late start, but we'll do our best to not keep you very long. We invite you to join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. If I get a little tangled and stuck.
I have Mr. Will Ricketts here.
Oh, okay, great.
He's a star student from Harper Story Middle School. He's a member of some of our sports teams, most recently the basketball team. He's an honor roll student. He is our student council president.
Oh, nice.
And he's kind of my go-to guy for student affairs and probably our top student ambassador. But probably maybe more important than any of that, he's a Baltimore Orioles fan. So.
Thank you for being here, and please lead us in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you. And do you have do you care to call school for tomorrow as student body president? What would you like to, what's your recommendation? Time's up. You gotta be quicker now.
I'd like to go ahead and...
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
We have a business partner.
We do. We're lucky to have another business joining partnerships with Wildwood Middle School tonight. Tonight we have Miss Sarah Carter and Miss Sarah Carter and Taylor Robinson here from MVB Bank. So have them come up here. As they're getting settled, I just want to go ahead and publicly thank some of our other business partners. As you know, each year we do a business partner scholarship, and we've been getting in donations. We've got almost $2,500 so far. I want to publicly thank Alpha Best Education, Sweet Frog, Hillside Child Care Development Center, Kilmer's Farm Market, Bank of Charlestown, Jefferson Security Bank, Summit Point Raceway, Ellsworth Music and Supply, City National Bank, River Riders, AmeriGas, Ratner Companies, which is hair cuttery, WVU Medicine, and also MVB Bank has donated this year, and they do every year. So I want to publicly thank those people, and we'll be giving that money. Every penny goes to some graduating students this spring. So we want to thank them.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So we haven't had a whole lot of time yet to establish some activities. They did. You want to speak to the basketball games that you all attended?
Yes, Wildwood was gracious enough to let us come in the gymnasium and be there for the basketball games. What we did was we had a little bit of a giveaway. We came up with these little basketballs that said MVB on them. We attached coupons for the concession stand. So the cheerleaders could come out and throw the basketballs to the crowd, and it really, we would make the donation to make up for the coupons, and it would get people to the concession stand, get them involved with the cheerleaders, and it's a lot of fun. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah, and they actually approached us about that, so I'm thankful. So we've talked about bringing them into a couple of our classes, maybe the business classes or the home ec facts classes, to address saving money and things like that, the financial side. So I think that's something that they're definitely willing to do, and it'll help our students out. Maybe the 8th graders is what we were kind of thinking. So bring them in as some guest speakers. And then we'll also get in touch with them. They said something about like donating water and things like that if we have different events at school. So we'll just move forward with this and see what we can do.
We have a lot of really great programs on Teach Children to Save that we can tailor. I mean, we literally do preschools with silly little stories for the kids, and we can tailor it all the way up to, we've been in front of college kids. So getting into the middle school, which is new for us, we haven't been really in a middle school other than the basketball game. It's really exciting to get out and touch a different generation of kids.
And I can just tell you, at least, I know at least one student at Wildwood desperately needs your counseling, so could you start tomorrow?
I could have used it, I'll tell you that as a kid.
We might have to pull him from band class to come to these sessions because I don't know if the band students would necessarily get the fax class.
Hey, we could try.
Yeah,
Yes.
we could give it a shot.
I bet you Mr. Lee would have loved it.
I don't know. I hear at least weekly complaining about the 10 minutes grab and go, that it's taking away from his instructional time.
Well, we know you've already been active in our community, and we look forward to having you formally at Wildwood.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I recognize some of your faces from the chamber events, so it's nice to see familiar faces. That's great.
Just put a quick plug in for the Business Partner Scholarships. Students still have till mid-April to put in their application, so if they haven't done so, they still have time to do that. As I said, we've got almost $2,500, and hopefully we'll get some more in before then. But that money will be given to some deserving students this spring again. So if you haven't applied yet, please do.
Outstanding. Thank you all very much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Madam Superintendent?
No, sir, I'm busy checking my texts from the other superintendents who are closing as they're closing, sending me texts on when they're closing. We'll make every effort to make that call as soon as possible so our families can prepare.
Approval of minutes of the last regular board meeting, as well as special board meetings on the 16th of February and March 2nd and 7th. We have a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any questions or revisions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Will you punch your keyboard, Mrs. Harner?
I was already filled in from the test, so I'm going to take it out.
We don't have any citizens' comments tonight?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Consent agenda.
I have one requested change. I would ask that the board remove Mr. Mark Gusick from number 32 for some additional information and discussion provided in closed session before making a decision on that leave of absence requested.
So we would consider a motion to approve the consent agenda with modification of deletion of or removal of item 32 for further
No,
consideration.
just Mr. Mark Gusick in item 32.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Do we have such a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Old business? New business?
Ms. Arbonne.
Hi.
Good evening.
Hi there. Well, first of all, we just wanted to tell you all it's good to be here this evening with you on this possible snow. Right? It just, a couple flakes started just a few minutes ago. I had the great pleasure of working with the foreign language teachers from all 4 middle schools and the high school, and I usually have more people here with me, but tonight thank goodness we have Elizabeth Marciano from Washington High School who's here with me tonight. I just want to name off the members of the committee, even though they are not here. We had Emerald Lynch from Harpers Ferry Middle, Ann Lewis from Wildwood Middle, Maria Howard, Jefferson High, Agnes Buchanani, Jefferson High, Christina Cornelius, Charlestown Middle, and Alicia Ring, from Shepherdstown Middle. The Foreign Language Adoption Committee have been meeting and reviewing, researching the materials this year, and have worked beautifully together, the middle and the high. They would like to request that the following instructional materials from HMH, which is Hoffman Mifflin Hardcourt publication, to be placed on review. Spanish 1, 2, 3, and 4, and French 1, 2, and 3 until the March 27th board meeting. We are asking for them to be placed on review for 2 weeks. The books will be available to the public here at the Board of Education. There's a table right down in front of the Paige Jackson room. We have a French textbook sample and the Spanish. And they're actually all 6 schools, all the secondary schools have copies in their building also that they can put them on display. We will also post notification on our website of materials being reviewed and provide an opportunity for citizen comments. Ms. Marciano from Washington has been our designated committee member spokesperson, and she has prepared like a snapshot review of the materials they selected.
Can we also ensure that we send an email notice to Mr. Rutherford, who is the head of our local NAACP? Some of the discussions that we have had with them is seeking their group's support in ensuring that we have culturally relevant materials for all of our students. And also, while there's not a corresponding group for our Hispanic families, we have a good number, like interpreters over at Ranson in particular. And if we could just reach out to them and ask them as well. I think it's very important for us to make sure that it's not just parents, but also groups that have a vested interest in ensuring we have culturally diverse materials as well. I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
And Ms. Marciano, she's going to give a little snapshot review of that.
Welcome. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you, and I appreciate being given the opportunity to ask for these books to be put on review. Avancemos is the title of the Spanish series that we're looking at, and Bien dit for the French series. After we reviewed the options, we unanimously chose these texts. It's the first time I've ever been on, and I've done lots of adoptions where we actually all agreed the first vote. So that was good, I thought. So we like them not only for the written content, the program development, but because we're very, very impressed by the variety and amount of the technology components that these texts have to offer. We believe that the scope and sequence of the text will enable us to fully develop our language programs, provide the highest quality instruction for our students, and to meet and perhaps even to exceed the learning standards set by the West Virginia Board of Ed and the ACTFL American Council on Teaching Foreign Language. The sequencing of vocab and grammar lessons is logical, easy to follow. Sometimes I've looked at books where I can't even figure out what it is they want me to teach on the page. But these are, easy to follow, easy to understand. They're exposed to on-level appropriate literature, various cultural components, and enrichment activities. The tasks are provided to encourage and develop both guided and spontaneous dialogue in the target language, which is hard to do, get them to talk to one another. The series has also become aligned with the thematic unit concept that the AP Language and Culture curriculum is built upon. So that was a big change for me, a positive thing for the textbooks now. The embedded text activities, along with the technology pieces provided with the text, will provide both teachers and students multiple valuable opportunities to learn, reinforce, practice, explore, and broaden their knowledge and understanding about the language and the culture of French and Spanish-speaking, the Spanish-speaking world. Students will have access to interactive news and networking sites that are updated regularly, reading and writing activities both in text and online, and they'll be able to record their own voices, which I like this idea, for themselves to review and for us as teachers to review. Furthermore, students will be able to access with various authentic cultural activities and to complete a variety of integrated performance assessments. Another valuable aspect that I feel of both of these texts is the tremendous number and variety of activities that will help us to better differentiate our classes and our instruction, so that all of our students, at whatever level they're able to comprehend and develop their foreign language abilities, I think that we're going to have enough different variety of activities to meet them at the level and encourage and build their skills. They also, in addition, the students have access to an online component where they can check, am I getting this concept? If not, they have 44 different practice activities on each of these concepts. So they can keep working at and working at and working at and reinforcing and practicing again, and we can check on their progress on those items. So we do feel that with this series, we'd be able to facilitate and monitor and promote positive language learning practices, provide modes of learning that appeal to these modern students, and to infuse our classes with fun, appealing, interactive, and challenging lessons to help them succeed, not only now, but in the future. Thank you.
Will we require any additional technology expenditures to be able to take advantage of those aspects of the books?
We're looking at updating some of our, laptop, 4 laptop carts, and 30 of the Acer computers, like this one along with it.
And we actually, with this was not only a fantastic series and the book, but with this series, they love this part because we save money on. So you get 25 printed books, but for every 25 printed books, you get 75 online. So they wanted a set of printed one, and then the 75 online books come with it. So we love that part. Nobody else was doing that either, but they just happened to love this series, and then in looking at it, we found that out too. Double bonus.
You saw in the past, most times the licenses mirror the cost of the books pretty much. You know?
Yeah. So we got 50 free for every 25.
Free sounds good.
Free. I know. Yeah. So that help. We'll be able to help with the.
Well, can we get a motion in case we have some questions?
Second.
Thank you. Questions?
So the laptop cards and the computers will be divvied up as far as you're thinking different middle schools, high school, wherever they're needed to be able to facilitate that? Is that what the needs are there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably know better than me. We're looking at 4 laptop carts, I think, one for each middle school. And then 2 and 2 at the...
Well, 4 for the high school. There's 4 language teachers at each high school, so we were looking at 4. Hopefully, we would like to get 4 30 laptop carts at each high school. But if we know that we're within a budget area, and we could do 2 15s and 2 15s also. So.
Will we check first to see who has what available, and then maybe one needs 20 and one needs 10, rather than making it?
That's going to change from year to year, so that I don't know if we can make a standard, a set decision, and that would cover us for.
But you're saying this initial purchase to survey and see is there a need for these?
Right.
Many right at this point or there.
Right. If we can't end up getting them for each one of the classrooms, we may find that, one school or the other school has an extra set of laptops or not, or iPads or not, or some kind of facility usage where the other school wouldn't, and would be best, as far as the teachers go, it would be better served feeding them in this classroom or that classroom. That's all I'm saying. Before we just kind of buy them and split them out, we don't have enough for everybody, but then we end up not having even enough in the school to make that happen. My other question, Debbie, real quick while you're here, is, as of right now, is it true that Harper's Ferry does a half a year of Spanish in 7th grade and a half a year of Spanish in 8th grade?
All middle schools.
And so all the middle schools do it that way? Okay, so we don't offer like Spanish 1 in 8th grade? It's Spanish 1, but it's through 7th and 8th grade?
Yeah, Spanish 1 and Spanish 1A in 7th grade, and then Spanish 1B in 8th grade. So they get the full credit by the time they leave the middle school, but they spread it out over the 7th grade year and then the 8th grade year.
Okay.
A semester.
Do they find that, as far as the high school teachers go, that by having that spread out over 2 years, that there's not enough, I guess, a loss of, I don't know that as a kid I would remember my Spanish 1A stuff all the way 2 years later into 9th grade, or is it just because, I know my kids, we were in a different school system, but when they took Spanish 1, it was 8th grade, you took the whole year. 1 year, you took it all.
Basically, the text that we've been using, and this text as well, they're constantly reworking, like once we learn something, it's not forgotten. It's constantly brought in and you're just adding new material to it. So as they're going from, and we didn't buy two separate books, 1A, 1B, we just used the level 1 book, and the teachers kind of divided up. So it's constantly reinforcing and bringing back previously learned knowledge and just building on it. So I don't see that that's a problem of them not remembering any more than a student like in 9th grade who's getting the full level 1, and now at the end of the year they don't remember what the day of the week is. I mean, that's just, you know, it's just, it kind of, you know, but so we're hoping that with the added opportunity to put the technology feed in, which is where they are these days, that it's really going to stick with them a little better, that they're going to feel more ownership in what they're doing and more involved in learning the class.
How painful or painless is the transition going to be for the students that are using the current textbooks? Like if they're in Spanish 2 now, going to Spanish 3, is it going to be a smooth transition for them?
There's always going to be some roughness to it, but I'm kind of looking ahead now to what do I need to prep my Spanish 1s for? What is that second year book going to need them to do? And we've covered already plenty of stuff that they'll be able to jump into it. The vocabulary is where you probably run into a problem because the vocab, it may be the same themes, but maybe different words. So what the other teacher and I at Washington were talking today was that we might start pulling out some of the vocab that's introduced in the level 1, the book we're hoping to get, and introducing that as we go through the end of the year because lack of snow days, and I shouldn't speak too soon, we're kind of ahead of where we normally are, so I feel we have an extra opportunity of time to throw in, maybe bring them up to speed that way. So I think that we can anticipate trying to start that transition now before they get in the fall.
And do the teachers have to go through a similar transition with this new material?
Yeah, and I believe that the company will provide us training, particularly on the technology aspects.
And we were scheduling a vertical 6 through 12 planning with this group of teachers at the end of the year, also to do a revised curriculum map and looking at all the pieces, so it'll have a seamless flow.
When was our last foreign language adoption?
This is our 9th year with these books. So whatever it's time. Yeah. I told you I know the pages by heart.
Find it on page 12.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Before we vote, since this issue's on the table, Dr. Gibson would like to ask, and you tell us when it makes sense, but I know at the last LSIC meeting of the high schools, there was quite a bit of discussion about status of, or adoption, next adoption of math, and it seemed like the adoption was too far off for when the need is. And I may not have that right, but could you at least at whatever time kind of give us a presentation of kind of where we are for next year?
Yes, sir. I can certainly do that.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Now get home. Thank you. Good night.
Get home safely, everybody.
Yes, you too. Anything else before the board?
Maybe it's West Virginia. Thursday.
We do have an executive session for personnel.
Regarding personnel. Okay. Thank you for the reminder about the LSIC meeting Thursday night. I am at this point, will not be able to be there unless the weather changes business commitments. So my regrets for that. Entertain a motion to enter executive session regarding personnel as permitted under West Virginia law.
So moved.
And a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Do we anticipate any action?
Yes.
Okay, so we will then be, we have gone into executive session. We will return to open session for action.